Hello, it's Andy Graham, and McGeorge D, or AKA Bob the Squid from Michigan, asked me, what is the biggest shithole you visited? Shithole. Oh, I'm always, is it what or which? Which is the fish? Okay, shithole. I think that's a general question, like what city is the biggest shithole I visited? He brought up Agra, India. I think, is that the place where that might be the place where the Taj Mahal is at. I've been to the Taj Mahal, but I don't see that as a shithole. Delhi is. The biggest shithole I ever was in was has to be Varanasi, India. It's on the Ganges River, and it's where they burn bodies, and when you die, the Hindu religion comes and burns the body on the river, and it's some kind of religious ceremony. So they're hauling these dead bodies down to the river, and you got these big flames going on, and they're burning bodies. But because it was raining, there was like a slurry of mud on the little sidewalk-like things they got, and I consider it like a tramp shed. It was like a tramp shed where the cows are waiting to get milked. They're basically out in the tramp shed, and there's a slurry of shit there, and they keep you scrape it, but it's just a layer of shit full of urine, and it's just sit there. That was Varanasi. It was. You also got to understand that India. Basically, I got a picture of a lady sticking her hand up the ass of a cow to milk the cow of urine so that she could paint her walls. I mean, they take shit and they paint the grounds. So literally, I remember being in Hampi, and they're basically taking a brush and taking shit and putting it on the floor, and then they decorate the shit with these color things. And then, so it was definitely literally a shithole. There's literally shitholes in India. But Varanasi, India, it's in the north, considered a very holy city on the Ganges, right before you get to Nepal, leaving the country. Excellent city to go to because it's just overwhelming, and it was. But on the other side is you walk away with so many question marks. One of the best quotes ever came from one of the guys there. He said he was in like the Lion Hotel or something, which there's 5 of them. He said, I can never leave India because it's a question mark. And travel is always uncomfortable. Okay, if you're comfortable, you're not traveling, because you basically are in your same culture. When you leave your own culture, you're not comfortable because they're doing things different, and nothing you anticipate is happening. So cultural fatigue is the constant, like, why is this guy cutting the line? Why do they drive like an idiot? Why do they go on? I mean, the more you have this, the more you're traveling. When you're completely safe and wonderful, you're in a resort, and there is no cultural difference. I mean, I want to go to a resort full of German women waiting on me. I don't want a Mexican. I don't want an African. I want to live in a resort full of German or Swedish or Switzerland girls serving me up food in a way just a little bit different than my own culture, but bringing me American food, and that would be a resort. But it's not where I can test things, but if I want my omelet with egg, cheese, ham, I can have it, but I can also make the choice. But I want them to have the same manners as me, okay, which is why I'm not going to go to a resort in the Dominican Republic. I'm not going to go to a resort in Mexico. I would go to a resort off the coast of Florida somewhere, or maybe England. England's got good manners inside the country. Brits abroad, ooh, they're bad. Okay, what is the best shit? Now, but just so, this is a tough question, because shithole doesn't mean I have shithole hotels. The worst hotel I think I ever seen was probably in Baghdad, Iraq. And my friend, I didn't stay in it, but my friend, what is his name? The guy I was with, the British guy, he stayed in it because it was cheap. I mean, they basically give you a crash pad, and they don't clean the blankets, and they have to give you sandals to walk around on. I mean, some of these places are so dirty because they don't want you to walk on the floor, but the sandals are used by 25 people, so I mean, you stick to the bed spread. You sit down on it and you stick to it. I did the same thing in India in Dalwad or something like that. India will have rooms that are so bad that you just stick to everything. I was in a really horrible hotel in Thailand, you know, what is it? It's at the border of Ranong, Thailand. Going across to Myanmar, I was doing a visa run. It was one of the worst hotels. I mean, I actually killed a cockroach, and the ants. I had pictures of the cockroach getting carried out of the room by the ants. I don't show these rooms much anymore because people believe I live in this room. Like right now, I got a beautiful one, and if you know, you get upset, so you want to take a video of pictures of the shitty room. But the truth is that one room is not every day. I actually live in quite nice rooms. Africa it's not a shithole. I think when I think of shitholes, I think of the Philippines. Okay, I think of downtown Bangkok sometimes. Shitholes are places where in Manila, there are so many people living on top of people that people are actually showering in the street. And so you have this, you can walk into an area in Manila where so many people are living in one area that they don't even have a way to get rid of the trash, the shit, and the water efficiently, and it smells so bad that it's concentration of human. I mean, most of the places I go in Africa are not shitholes. I mean, everybody's leaving Africa, and there's never high density of population. I think over in Nigeria, which is hard to get into, there is. Accra is so concentrated with people. Sometimes it is, the sewers are so full of shit. They're so trash. I mean, you get these concrete storm sewers, and they just are shit. I've seen the same thing in Brazil. Concentration of people outside of Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. I mean, it's just good. What makes a shithole? Shithole is a concentration of human density. So if you really want to live in a bad place, human density is more than 300 people per square kilometer. Indiana, I think, is something like 35 per thing, and New York City, you got to think New York City, Manhattan. That is rats in a cage, guys. And yes, it's clean, but it's the rat race. I had a test, but shithole is also, to me, something to do with people. And where do I consider the people really some of the worst? Dominican Republic. All the Caribbean islands. Oh my God, these people are angry, hostile, they're tough. I hate the people in the Caribbean. I mean, you're sitting there in heaven, right? Beautiful beaches, beautiful things, crystal blue waters. And the people have no respect for anybody. When they give you lectures all day, like somehow they have a clue what they're doing. Shithole. A Mexican drunk for 3 days. They go on these drunks for 3 days. So is a shithole the people, or shithole the hotel, or shithole the village? The worst village in the place I've ever been is Varanasi. The worst people I've met on the planet, some ways Venezuela, some ways, let me think off the top. Some of the best people I ever met were in Iraq. Saddam killed all the bad people. He got the bad people right off the top killed. Not the way to do it. Bad people. Any big city, center of the people where everybody's ignoring you. Sometimes in New York City, in the United States, you have some of the most inhuman people on the planet. But generally, the most least trustworthy I've been into is Dominican Republic. The least trustworthy. I mean, India people. I mean, they can never talk. they never tell you the truth. Where do they lie the most? I mean, all of Africa lies. But you gotta understand, I'm a rich person, and everybody's pitching me their need. Like somehow I'm going to be able to give them $100 and take them out of poverty for a month, right? Lying is rampant on the planet. And where do I get the most? I get the most in the more expensive the hotel, the more I hear it. Because when I walk out, the taxi drivers, a taxi driver outside a rich hotel is just the worst piece of flesh on the planet. I like to stay in the mom and pop hotels and I interview the hotel people. I buy people in the hotel, I don't buy the hotel. I first get the people, then I get the hotel. So you have shithole hotels, shithole cities, and shithole cultures. Dominican Republic is the worst culture I've ever been, but you got these whoremongers that are in Dominican Republic that are just a kick. But they're very, very bad people, but they sort of talk to you honest, and then you want to ignore their mental confusion, right? Some of the worst human flesh as far as expats on the planet were in Chiang Mai. I was hanging around with there's some creepy guys that live in Chiang Mai. I never really hang around in Pattaya. In a way, Angeles City has some really creepy expats. In Thailand, some of the expats are so creepy because they got this. There's 50% of the expats in Thailand are really kind of going for gay sex. So at the end of the day, they got this fantasy stuff that you don't want to know. And the more you go to Thailand, the more you realize that you don't really want to understand them. On the first level, it gets good, and after the thing. So every village has the expats and the locals. The locals can be shit, and the expats can be loving. I don't hang around with the expats in Africa because I wouldn't be seen in the same room with these people, because they basically are making money, spending my money, they get donations, and they get charity, they're NGOs, right? And then they don't do their job, and basically they're so ingenuous about how they talk to me. I would rather deal with a whoremonger, right? Because a whoremonger basically is honest. He's searching for women, right? An NGO is searching. They're scammers. They're conners, and they have no sense of pride in doing and finishing what they started. They don't have this. I got a job to do. They basically come in. It's rape. Okay. So you have shithole expats, and then you have shithole things. Where are the best expats on the planet to hang around with? It's a tough one, because every single village you go into has a different. I can only say is that I got 100 different cities on our website where I say to go hang out, and what you got to do is just keep knocking off one of these, and maybe you'll find your personal home. But it's not just your home; it's a combination of the local people, the expats, and then the quality of life. I'm never going to stop traveling, because really the best people I know are in Orland, Indiana, USA. Okay? They're really quite good people, very simple people, but I enjoy hanging out. I don't enjoy living in a city. Quality of life, a cheap place to live is real easy to find. Good, wholesome, outside the United States, everybody's lying to us as an American. So most of the people are never-ending lying. You see expats that don't learn the language. I speak French, je parle français, yo hablo español. I can get in, but the more I know them, the less I like them. And this is always the problem. The more I know the locals, the less I like them. Very seldom have I been around a local that I actually sit there, and the more I knew them, the more I like them. The more I know the expats, normally the less I like them. I consider them a thing. Now, how do I get my friendship? I have friends now on Skype where I could talk to them and do it. But the shitholes, I could tell you some really. I came across the Ghana border and I stayed in this hotel that was really, really rough. Okay, but they're in America too. I was in one of the worst hotels in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I think we took the mattress off the bed and threw it on the floor because the bed was so bad. This is, that was owned by Indian people, actual Indians, and that was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I mean, there's such bad hotels in Mexico that you could. Mexicans don't clean toilets. I don't know what goes on with this culture, but they don't clean their toilets. It is so disgusting to go into a toilet in Mexico. If you really want to know how to find a good hotel, always walk into their toilets. Walk into their public toilet, and that's what the public toilet in the hotel is. The hotel. Okay, shitholes. I could go on forever, but I got 16 plus years of perpetual travel. I've lived in over 1,000 hotels. I've been in at least 1,000 cities. Tough to recuperate all the brainwaves. If I can think of more, if I come up with some ones that I forgot about. I mean, we don't remember the bad, we remember the good. And after a while, all the bad sort of fades. Okay, Andy Graham in Dapong, Togo, West Africa. It's March 2014. Thank you, McGeorge D, Bob the Squid from Michigan.